Hey everybody, it's Jamonster back again with Opus Gaming, and I'm here today to bring you a little bit of playtesting. Well, not as much playtesting. We're actually doing a mock run through of an OP02 pre-release. So what we're going to do is take this box, we're going to split it 6 packs each, and we're going to go through the entire process. So I'm pretty excited about that. I think One Piece actually has a pretty cool pre-release setup, especially compared to like Dragon Ball, but even just as fun as Digimon, which is actually pretty hard to do because the Digimon pre-release is really fun. But cracking open the box topper pack here, we get the Don Quixote 2-drop blocker. That's really cool. But Quan's gonna be pulling out all the packs here, so it's me and my teammate Quan doing this. So we're just gonna pull out all the packs that the box has, or I guess we actually left a handful of them in there. Just kind of pulling some random stuff though. At this point, especially too, I just don't even have enough rares, so I just want any packs that I can get. But the way that it'll work is we're gonna start off the video with like kind of a pack battle style, and then right after that we'll get into deck building for the set, or for the meta, and then after that we're gonna get into a quick gameplay. So separating out our 6 packs each, we're gonna kind of go into, we have a pre-release pack as well. Usually at pre-releases you'll get that pack and then a promo, and you're able to use both of them in the deck. So to try to keep it as realistic as possible, we'll crack open some of these pre-release packs. So I think in the pre-release pack I'm really just looking for I was looking for some of the red cards because I think those are the more expensive stuff, but I got some of the blue cards, and I think that deck is actually going to be really fun. So leave a like and comment down below if you guys want to see a blue deck profile come into the channel soon. On Quan's side, it looks like he got 2 purple cards, the vanilla, and then the jail beast card, I think is what it was called. So alright, going into the first pack battle, we're going to crack them both. I think we're going to start the first half of this basically just pulling them one at a time, but we'll see how even it stays. I don't think there's any commons I'm really looking forward to. I do really like Trafalgar Law and some of the other cards, but nothing I'm too crazy about. And then getting into the rares, we both hit a Luffy, and then here I get the first hit. He gets a Whitebeard, which I see before I see my own Nami, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's pretty crazy. So only 6 boxes or 6 packs out of the box, and I got a alternate on my first one, so that's pretty exciting. Going into pack number 2, we're just kind of ripping through it. A lot of what we're looking for though, obviously this part is all about value, but you'll kind of see in the deck building portion what we look forward to for the deck building aspect of it. So ripping through, let's see what we get. So the rare slot, I get a Garp, and then I get a second altar. I get the Saudi, so that box is pretty hit through at this point, which feels really good for me because I only got a few packs out of it, and I can move on to the next one. But getting those altars definitely feel good now. So ripping through the next pack, I think this is going to be the halfway mark where we're at 3, and then after this you're going to see us kind of go through it a bit quicker, and then we'll transition over to a little bit of deck building. Okay, so I do hit a Vista here. That's a pretty exciting rare to hit. I didn't see what the second card was, but having like the Vista, we already have the Luffy. Oh, that was a Luffy SR. That's pretty cool. The Luffy SR is actually just a really good card for the Von Cobb deck. So got Luffy SR. We got the pre-release stamp card, so maybe it's just telling us to play the list. We'll see. All right, going into ripping our packs. Oh, we got our Barcelona on our side. I didn't see what Quan got for the past few hits, but I think he's been getting double rares the whole time. So we're going on to pack number 4. Get to the rares. I don't really know which commons. I think it's really just 2Ks. Yeah, we see 2 counter from me, and then 2 rares on Quan's side too. So nothing too exciting in the later parts, but honestly, hitting 2 of the altars, that Nami is gorgeous. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I think it's the best alternate Nami that we have. Let me know what you think about that down below if you have one that you like more than the other. But all right, we got a Marco. That's really cool too. Transitioning over to some deck building. So I know talking to Quan, he actually circles back and helps me like so much with what we're looking for. But look, starting out here, you see me putting some event cards into my deck, and that event card that I have there right now is actually something that is going to come up in our gameplay, something that I end up looking for and kind of playing towards. But you see me just kind of adding, nothing is in order right now because you are kind of playing like a good stuff deck. You just want to make sure your curve is pretty balanced as far as just having enough cards to play on the important turns. But the only turn that doesn't matter for playing a card is turn 1, just because all the turn 1 plays just weren't that cool. But if you guys have made it this far into the video, drop a like, leave a comment down below, and leave a sub if you're not subbed already. We're trying to grow the channel right now. We're on our way to our first 500 subs to do a reveal for our first 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and we're just working our way towards that. So once we hit 500 subs, I'll do a reveal for some of the cool stuff that we're giving away. But drop a sub down below if you're not already subbed. I'd really appreciate it. We've been growing at a really great rate though, so first of all, thank you to everybody that has been showing some support. But looking at some of the cards that I'm going through here, I'm looking at some of my events and things like that, and honestly the event that I'm reading right now, I should have read it twice because I think it's actually pretty cracked. It can protect your board pretty efficiently. Black has a lot of efficient cards and has a really cool way to make it really annoying. I just don't think it has a good leader for the archetype yet. Juan just has his white beard chilling just to remind me that he has it. I've got a lot of good pulls on my side, but I think right now I'm just kind of going through and pulling all the best cards that I have out. Right now it looks like we're getting some 2K counters, some more green cards. It looks like I don't have enough Wano cards to play Odin. I did bring Odin, I brought Eustace Kid, but I think I'm playing Eustace Kid as well as Quan is definitely playing Kid as well. So going through everything here. In a second here we'll file the deck out as well. So making sure for a pre-release as well, it's not a 50 card deck, it's a 40 card deck, so that's something that you're going to see us start to count out and everything here as well. Quan is decided on his deck, so he's going to start fanning it out a little bit here, I believe. Just in 1 second, you see me counting out how many cards I have, so I know I need probably, I think at this point I needed like 12 cards or something like that. But for Quan, we see some vanillas coming down first, 4-drop vanillas, some 3-drop vanillas, 2K counters, more early game cards. I think that card is like an early game double attacker. That's what the pre-release card I got. 6-drop vanillas on Quan's side coming down. Just lots of powerful cards to play on curve. More blockers, defensive options, vanillas, and event cards. And just more 2-drops. So everything's kind of sorted out by play cost. We see the 5-drop guy up there that can bottom deck blockers. Blockers are a really big part of this meta. So as you see from Quan's deck list, you can see us going into a lot of vanillas. That's something that's really important, like I touched on a second ago. You want to play cards on curve, but you want to be able to constantly put aggression on your opponent. So if you're able to have a wider board than your opponent, take out their aggression and then kind of push one card per turn and control the board that way, that's one of the big things that you're going to be looking for the pre-release format. I think one thing that you'll see on my side is that you definitely want to go for blockers. That's the next thing that we're going to talk about, is just blockers in general. Play all of them that you can because they're all good. Staving off your opponent from pushing their final push of the game is going to be really, really important. So here you see me putting out some well, not just really important, it's going to be game changing. It's very pivotal for the blocker point, but you're going to see me putting out some stuff. I've got like a card that plays out of security or out of life. Sorry about that. My 2K counter Garp. We got some vanillas, a lot of 4-drops on my side because I don't have a very balanced amount of like different numbers of cards or play costs of cards. On Quan's side, you see him cleaning up some of his event options as well. So you see the bigger cards at the bottom right, like the big Luffy, the Newgate to kind of defend himself and to have something very powerful for his next turn. And then on my side, I don't have cards that kind of go up that high. I think the biggest card I have is maybe an 8K vanilla, but you'll see it come down in a second. So I do have the 7-drop blocker though, which is nice. You see me putting blockers down here though, which is just going to be really important, like we were just talking about. They can protect some of your going wide strategies too. So if I play one of these cards here that costs 4 and I swing out at my opponent, I can tap 2 and play out the blocker. Here for Quan, you see him going through some of my stuff and just throwing out cards. It's like, yo, you got to play this because it's worth playing. Don't play Squad. He didn't mean to throw that card out because I'm not playing a Whitebeard leader. But all in all, I think I do play Ace. No, it doesn't look like I have any cards that I can't use for leader lock. You see that small removal package? That's another thing that's really good. Is getting rid of your opponent's cards efficiently. Having the card that cracks when your opponent's rested 4-cost cards is really strong here. So looks like I only need a handful of cards left. So you see me just filling it out with some good stuff, a couple good stuff cards, and dropping out a couple cards just to hit that 40 card count like we were talking about before. But so the deck's coming together on Quan's side, a couple more things on my side, a couple glared out cards, but I do want to play like a big vanilla guy, but then I'm just like, yeah man, whatever, we'll just make sure I have enough cards. If I am down on a card or anything like that, I can, but kind of going back and forth and be like, I probably don't need I think Quan's like, yeah, screw all these black cards, they're not the play. But yeah, I think those are the biggest pivotal points that are the big pillars of cards that you want to play. You do want to play really powerful top end cards, so your powerful, not level 6s, but your powerful high cost cards. But you really want to have a good amount of blockers, good amount of vanillas to play on curve, a good amount of cards to play on 3 when you're on 3 Dawn. 3 or 4 Dawn, 5 or 6 Dawn. And then also just like something powerful to finish the game on from 8 Dawn plus, right? Going into those later turns. So doing a final count and then going into the gameplay here. So it's gonna be kid versus kid. I think that the game starts out with me going first, I believe. I don't play any 1-drops, but I do see. No, that's not the 2K count. I was trying to see what I see in my hand, but it's enough to start the game out. So I think I got some counter and then some cards to play on curve. So I think I have a card that costs 3 and a card that costs 5, which is, like I was just saying, the most important part though. So we go up to 1 Dawn, pass. Passing over to Quan's side, he dons up 2 Dawn and taps out for a 2-drop blocker. He can't attack on his first turn. So first attack's going to be on me going up to 3 Dawn, and I have the option to either equip the Dawn here, but I just choose to swing 5 at my opponent's leader. And then like I was saying, you really want to be on tempo. So we're tapping 3 for the new Helmeppo. That's the card I got from the pre-release. We're kind of going, he's asking me like, what does that card do? And I just kind of am explaining it to him right now. But passing turn pretty quickly here. So it's going to be on Quan, draw, untap his Dawn, and Dawn up to 4. He goes swing 5 at leader right away to start the turn out. I take it, and it looks like we picked up not an event card, but that's an Inuarshi, maybe a 3-cost character card, and just fully tap out for the 4-cost vanilla. The 6K body is going to be really powerful here because we're just so early in the game that he can really bully me with that card, making it swing at my leader, but then also not be super easy to swing into. Swing here with Helmeppo and activate his effect, so he's going to reduce the blocker by 2, and since there's a card with 0 on the board right now, he boosts himself by 2k, so he's swinging for 5k, which is neutral with leader, and we're just resolving that effect. Right now, Quan doesn't care too much. He's not going to sacrifice the blocker. He's just going to counter out 1 card, and then we're going to swing 5. So you counter out of the first one because you don't know how much Dawn is going on the leader for the second one, and you don't want to force damage that you're not ready to take when you know you're taking damage that turn. Here, I fully tap out, so I'm trying to keep up tempo with Quan. So I fully tap out for my 5-cost card, and he's going to be a 6-cost character as well. And we're going to see some of the more powerful cards that you can use in the pre-release coming into play on this turn. 5k is going to go from the Useless Kid straight into the Helmeppo just to clear the body, and we're actually going to tap most of our Dawn to rest down the 5-cost character, and then we're also going to be putting 2 Dawn on our 4-drop vanilla to put the most amount of pressure. So it's going to be 6k to 6k, and then he's putting 2 Dawn to make it 8k. That's going to cost 2 cards in my hand at least, and that's if I have a 2k counter, and I didn't pull very many of those in my pre-release. So that's going to be my biggest card on the board gone, and just like that, we're in a board state where Quan is way ahead. He has 3 characters, one of them being a blocker, to my none, and we're equal on life. So, or maybe I'm up 1 card in life or something like that, but my recording, yeah, it looks like it's 4-3. So going up to my turn, it's gonna be kind of hard. I have to make a statement on this turn while also trying to push damage to Quan and put him on lower cards in hand. And then I also have to match his tempo on board, so I need at least one card, but 2 cards would be ideal. 1 powerful card and two medium size cards. So we swing 5 at lead again. This is just to take 1k counter out of Quan. We don't actually want to push damage to give him extra cards right now, because we're trying to equalize the board state. So we see 2 come down to play a vanilla. Not the best in this situation, but it'll do. It'll be an attacker. And then 3 for, again, another card that's not the best right now. It's only got 4k, but it'll do. It's an attacker. And we tap 2 for the event card to pop the 4k. Now we're back to being kind of even. We're even on cards in hand because Quan's countered out of attacks 2 times. But we're also even on cards on the board state. He has a Yamato that's 2k more powerful than anything I have on the board, and that's an issue, but this is where we're at. So he's a little bit ahead. He also has a blocker, so I've got the offensive edge of having 2 attackers and him only having 1 blocker. Here we see a little bit of a fumble. Quan thinks that the Inuarashi I have right now is the blocker one, but he wants to hold. He wants to rest it to attack into it, but it's not. It's just the unkillable one, so he doesn't want to rest it on this turn. So we take that back. Here we see a raw swing of 6k into lead, and we take that so I can get a couple more cards in hand. I don't have a 2k in hand yet, but I just picked up the Garp out of life. And on Quan's side, he still has full Don, so he can either really pressure another attack in. Yep, and that's exactly what he's gonna do. 7k here. Oh, he might. Yep, he wants to push the 8k, because if I didn't have the 2k on the first attack, even if I pulled the 2k on the second out of life from the first attack, I won't have a second 2k for the second attack. So pushing 8k here is actually perfectly fine, and I don't have the cards in hand to just give it up like that. So here we see Quan go wide. He gets a second blocker on board and an additional vanilla. And he's really starting to run away with the game state. Here we're gonna Dawn up and do our best to kind of do what we did on the last turn and get the game state back equal. Let's see how we do that. We're running low on cards in hand, and we're running low on cards in life. He has a pretty big board here as well, but let's see what he does, or what I do. Here I'm taking some time to think my turn out. I think that more so than just doing the math of what I can afford to do, what I always say is just you gotta decide what you want to do, make the decision, and then if it's a learning point, circle back and learn from it. You can think about it and make the more proper decision, but kind of making the decision, circling back and learning from it is just going to give you a lot more insight than kind of playing the guessing game, right? So here I start attaching Dawn and swinging. I'm swinging 5k first, followed by 7k. So I do have, at least I took the time to figure out exactly what I want to do for the turn, and I'm executing it Dawn by Dawn. We're seeing after the 7k from the 4 drop, we're seeing a 7k, and here I'm swinging at leader just because I need to push him to a point where I can dump every card in my hand and defend myself, and then just use just my leader, right, to go for game. We saw 1 block already. Let's see if we see a second block from Quan here. Nope, we just see two cards come out of hand, and he can afford to do that just because he's pretty ahead. So we see tap 2 and put a blocker down here, but we'll see how effective the blocker is for this turn. We didn't take away the Yamato on that last turn as well. It would have been too difficult to. So here we're gonna swing, and we're just swinging at leader for 7. I think I'm feeling like this is the kill turn, and all the attacks are gonna get bigger from here, so I counter out at this stage, and Quan does a full pivot. So since he saw me counter out there, I'm low on cards in hand, but I'm not out of cards in hand, and it'll just be best for him to go for clearing cards on board. So now we're gonna swing 6k into a 4k. Too many cards for me to counter out of, so he'll for sure get the body. And then we see what he does with leader. Oh, he's on 7 Dawn, so if he's holding the 7 drop character Luffy blocker, he can tap 7 and play out that blocker pretty much no issue. So if he swings the up 3k into my guy, and from there Oh, I think his guy is 4K and my guy is, oh no, maybe it's 3K and 2K. That's the issue. So I gotta counter 2 cards, but I'm going to do it because I want the blocker, because I don't know if the 2 cards can get me out of attacks, but I know a blocker can. So I counter out to save the blocker. We see we can 5. That way I don't take the life damage this turn. All right, and then we pass. We have 1 attacker going into this. Quan has no blockers except for the 7-drop one. He has 1 blocker. I'm sorry, but just enough life to survive here. So not being able to push the damage on the last turn was actually pretty detrimental. So untap, set the Dawn back to active, and moving into this turn here, it's really rough. Me and Quan are just joking around. I think he's just telling me like, yeah, you can try to swing, but it's just it won't work. No, we're just chatting, talking about trading cards and stuff like that. But talking about the game state here, Quan is pretty far ahead. There's not really a world where I can clear enough bodies that equalize the game state, but it looks like I'm trying to. So we're gonna swing 7 into the 3 just because we can't afford to have a attack go through. Even if we put Quan on 0 cards in hand, we just don't have enough to make any more off of an impact. So no big deal. And then really contemplating how to finish out the turn here. I mean, it's gonna be kind of rough either way. Are we gonna tap out for a Luffy character card here? No, it doesn't look like so. Oh, I think I only have 6 Dawn left on this turn as well. Unless, nope, that's my hand down there. So yeah, it does look like I do have 7. So contemplating maybe dropping the 7-drop character card, or am I gonna be putting 3 aside so I can swing twice with Eustace? Also, this is the point where I'm kind of thinking like, if I can pull a 3-cost event card out of life, having 3 Dawn up is going to be really important for surviving and pushing here. So especially if Quan pushes and I can survive to the last attack. Here Quan did let 2 of his characters die, but he does have 2 more cards, and he's just going to swing 6 into the Jinbei. Probably figuring that he'll be fine with just the 3 attacks, and if the 3 attacks don't sink, I don't have rush, so I probably won't be able to attack with enough attacks on the next turn. All right, here we see 7 coming in from the leader, and we counter out pretty much our whole hand. And then Quan stops attacking, so instead of tapping 3 and discarding, we tap for a vanilla, and we do tap 3 and restand and swing. So here it kind of guarantees game. I flipped it over like it was a Digimon card, but that kind of signified the end of the game, so that's gonna wrap it up. I think that Quan's deck was built really balanced. So if you looked at a lot of the stuff that he had tons of 2K counters. Even when we fanned through his deck afterwards, he had a full run of 2K counters in there. He was seeing like more blockers and things like that than me, but a lot of the game was I didn't have enough gas to really go at his board correctly, and he had a lot of those vanilla cards and stuff like that just like presented a lot of lethal. So I didn't put as many of the vanillas in originally, and I think that I should have done that, but that's just something for you guys to learn from our playtesting. But with that, that's going to wrap up our commentary on the pre-release and kind of our run through of how to do a pre-release from start to finish. So if you guys like this type of content, let me know down below. But this is me, Jamonster with Opus Gaming, and I'm out. Take care, you guys.